Howdy and welcome back to the channel. I am Country Boy. 3 random packages. I don't know what they are, but you're about to find out. From a friend of mine, Lewis Lightning. So, I mean, how am I gonna choose which one to do first? I think I'm gonna go least favorite color to most favorite color. That's how I'll go. And so for me, it would probably be the yellow. Let's rip this thing open and see what we got inside here. Marvel Legends. Oh, okay. We got ourselves a Wolverine from, it looks like the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I can always have another Wolverine in my collection. Here we got him in the brown and yellow suit. Then he's got decent ab articulation, so there's forward and there is backward. And then this, I would say, is like my standard Wolverine. He's got the blue and the yellows and the tiger claws. He is a really well built, put together guy, lots of detail. I do like the way this guy looks. Now I gotta choose between the red and the blue, and if I gotta go again with my second least favorite out of the 3 colors, it's probably gonna be red. Open up the red packaging this time. And here we are with 2 more packages left. I got the 1 and I got the alpha. Which one do I open next? Well, if I'm gonna go with my second least favorite color out of these 2, I'm gonna go with the red. The red is probably my least favorite out of these 2 colors. I still like red, don't get me wrong, but it's my least favorite between red and blue. So here we go, opening up the red packaging. We'll see what the heck you got in here for me, Mr. Lewis Lightning. Another Marvel Legends. Ooh. This one's more for me, I think. It's a character that I do not have. It is the Agent Venom Flash Thompson version. That is pretty cool, actually. It's a figure I probably wouldn't have gotten because it's not the Spider-Man retro line. It's similar to the retro line. It comes in this kind of packaging, but it doesn't have the old school like logo from the 90s. And I wasn't collecting this line of figures, and you know what? It's cool to get a figure from this line because I haven't actually had one of them. And you know what? I do need myself an Agent Venom because I don't have one of those. I got a bunch of Venoms, but I don't have a Flash Thompson Agent Venom. But before we get to looking at the actual figure, let's get to looking at the packaging. So as you can see, it is got the Spider-Man logo right there, image of Agent Venom there from like the comic books. It says Flash Thompson, Marvel Legends. Big blister card you can see right there, so everything that he comes with is right there. And then you go to the back, and there's a nice image of the action figure. There's some other figures that are in this line, but some of these are actually in the Spider-Man retro, and some of these are not in the Spider-Man retro. Like I got this Kane in the retro, I got Chameleon in the retro, Spider-Man Unlimited was in the retro. These 2 Spider-Boy and Agent Venom and this Electro, I don't believe weren't in the Spider-Man retro line. They were in this line specifically. So it gives you a bit of a write-up right there. Flash Thompson bonds with an alien parasite suit. He's granted spider-like powers as Agent Venom. Well, that'll do it for the packaging. It's your standard Spider-Man packaging with the blister card. Now there's nothing left to do but to get into the packaging. And out of the packaging, here we have Agent Venom, aka Flash Thompson, and it is definitely a more cartoony or comic booky type of action figure compared to the Wolverine that I just unboxed. You can just see that in the level of detail that he has. It definitely has more of a less realistic and more comic book feel and look to him. I do like the way he looks, very tactical. So he's like a guy that maybe came out of the military and now he has the Venom suit. Really cool looking figure. But before looking at him too much, let's look at his accessories. And starting with these hands, so we have these Venom-like claw hands. So he's kind of going to be reaching, grabbing, clawing, maybe even holding something with these hands. Pretty standard, just black with kind of more of a clawy type fingers. And then the white on the wrist, because that's where he shoots his webs out. And then these hands, it's kind of a brawler type hands. They're going to be your fisticuffs. They're going to be your punching hands. Again, with the blacks and the whites, very similar. Level of detail is all there. It's the same as what you expect from pretty much any figure in this line. And so the figure does come with his head, just his normal human head, but he also does come with his secondary head. So this is going to be him with his mask on or his cowl. So he's got more of a Spider-Man-y look to him. Obviously, he's got the black and white, kind of like Venom would be, but definitely inspired by Spider-Man, if you will. Because, you know, Flash Thompson's a big fan of Spider-Man, even though he used to pick on Peter Parker as a kid. Spider-Man's his hero. He loves Spider-Man, so it's cool that you got a guy who's is kind of modeling his look after his hero, who happens to be the kid that he bullied as a kid when he was growing up. I love how it all kind of comes full circle that ways. But yeah, he comes with this mask, and it's pretty basic, just blacks, whites, but it's done quite well. And then it comes with two guns. I'll start off with this big gun right here. It's like a big tactical assault rifle. Very futuristic looking. It looks like something that Cable would have coming from the future or something. Or, you know, even in the Spider-Man cartoon series, since they had to use like laser guns, they can never use actual bullets. These are the types of guns they might have used in the cartoon there. It's all one just static color. It would have been nice if there was maybe a wash to it. Maybe just some different coloration on there just to kind of break things up. But, you know, the level of detail is there. It looks decent, and it looks like a gun. And then this gun here is his pistol. Again, it's kind of futuristic. Almost like the gun you would get for Nintendo, the NES gun for shooting duck hunt. That's kind of what it reminds me of. It's got one standard color, very futuristic looking, and it actually does holster into his pocket, which is kind of nice. It holsters quite nicely. I like how easily it slides in there, so I can have him ready to shoot the hip sort of thing. Really cool. You can have him with this gun in his holster, and then you can have the other gun in his hand, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing with this guy. But let's look at Flash Thompson, since we have him in my hand. He's got like the swooping hair going over. So, you know, this is a guy who's got like maybe like the 90s style haircut, I think. They probably modeled this version of Flash Thompson from the 90s, I would think. I mean, because nowadays you kind of think of a jock, you kind of think maybe like the crew cut or maybe spiked up hair. That's kind of what I normally think of for Flash Thompson. But I think this is more him as more of an adult version, more mature Flash Thompson. And the details on him are really cool. You got the blacks and the whites, and you got like these big shoulder pauldrons on here, which, you know, they do kind of hinder his movement a little bit, but not too much. There's some good give with the shoulders when you do move him up and down, which I do like that. Looking at his back, you can see the big kind of white spider Venom sort of symbol. Not exactly like Venom, but very similar. And then the front as well too. It does get broken up whenever you have to move his ab crunch, but I mean, there's no way to kind of get around it. You're gonna break it up whenever you do something like that. And then he's got like again the holster on the hip, and then he's also got like pockets on the side as well too. So again, taking a page out of Cable's book. The boots he's got too. He's got spikes on his shin guards right there. Really cool. This guy looks tactical as hell. But let's look at his articulation while we are holding him in hand. So the head goes forward and back like that. Not as much as I would have thought, actually. There is, I guess, maybe some hindrance with that big collar that he's wearing, but I don't see much movement in the neck, so maybe that's what's holding it back. Then side to side, he's got decent movement, and then all the way around his head can go. And then his arm, like I said, goes up better than I thought to with these shoulder pauldrons. So just over 9 degrees, I would say. And then he does have, does he have butterfly joints? I don't see any butterfly joints, so there's nothing there. And he does have a bicep swivel, so you get good movement in the bicep. Then he does have double jointed elbows, so you can go ahead and have him picking his own nose if you want to. And all the bumps and stuff kind of reminds me of like bugs or something like that. Maybe like arachnids or, you know, like scorpions. That's what it kind of reminds me of. All these little different dimpling on his tactical gear. That's kind of what it reminds me. I wonder if that's what his inspiration was. The wrist swings all the way around, and then because he does have a trigger finger on this hand, the wrist does go up and down, not forward and back, so it does give you the movement that you're going to want to have for a gun. And then for the waist, we're going to go with the ab crunch, and he's got a decent ab crunch. That's actually quite well done. The back and forward is really good. And then you also got there's no waist swivel? That is surprising, actually. I don't know why they wouldn't give him a waist swivel. It seems like standard at this point that you would have a waist swivel, and he's got a belt there to break it up if you really wanted to. That's strange to me that he wouldn't have a waist swivel. You know, that's a kind of a knock against him, actually, because he doesn't have that. It's not a big deal, but it's strange. It's strange that he wouldn't have that. Let's go down to the legs then, and the legs go down out about that far. A bit of hindrance because of the belt that he has around him. The legs go forward like that, a really good kick forward and backwards, kind of slightly. He does have a cut at the thigh, so there you go, your thigh cut's nice. You got double jointed knees. Let's see if we can bend those. They're a bit stiff, but there they go. He bends all the way up to his own butt. There's a good kick right there. And then he does not have a boot cut. So similar to Wolverine, there was no boot cut on there, but he does have decent movement in the feet. So there's your ballerina pose, and there is your foot back up, and then some decent rocker. So you know what? He's got a decent level of articulation, but missing that waist swivel. I am surprised at that choice. He doesn't have any pins either. Like, this is another pinless figure. I'm glad that Marvel Legends is moving away from the pins. They do look better without those pins. It's almost like I want to go back to some of my older figures and just toss them out because they got pins. But I'm joking, obviously. They don't look bad. But I do like the level of detail on this guy through and through. He does look like Agent Venom does. And he's got just a good looking face. The face model that he does have, he's got the cleft chin. Just a really good looking dude. And, you know, it is kind of a jock type looking guy. Again, let's compare him to some other figures. So again, I have my Spider Noir here, about the same size as Spider Noir. Noir's got blacks and he's got a gun as well too. That's why I thought I'd kind of throw him in there. And then I'll compare him with Wolverine with the cowboy hat on. So you can see obviously he's quite a bit smaller than Flash Thompson, which he should be, because Flash Thompson's known to be a bigger jock dude, and obviously Wolverine is known to be a smaller dude. And yeah, here he is with Hulk. As you can see, he's much smaller than him. He may be a bigger than an average guy, but not compared to a Hulk, obviously. Hulk's gonna tower over everybody. And he's similar height to the Wolverine that I just got from Mr. Lewis Lightning here. He definitely has that Hugh Jackman type size to him. This is definitely more of a movie accurate, more realistic detail to him. This guy got that comic book type look to him. But I like the idea that, yeah, you can have both worlds. You can have the MCU movies, or you can have your comic book and cartoon versions as well too, which I'm definitely going to have him with my Spider-Man retro series. Even though he's technically not from that line, he'll fit in there quite nicely, I think. But there is one more figure to open up from Mr. Lewis Lightning, and I cannot wait to see what it is. So yes, the last package is the Alpha from Mr. Lewis Lightning, but I guess there's no way to finding out unless we open this thing up, so let's do that right now.